I started to practice and continue to practice, I guess, because I kind of shared in multiple different videos that none of the stuff almost most of the stuff I share is not something I've mastered, or it's a practice. I notice things, I kind of implement it, and then sometimes I think, oh yeah, I got it now. And then I notice like, oh, I don't. It's still a process, you continuously practice. So the new thing I started noticing, it's because of two different things, is about procrastination. But I noticed myself procrastination, then trying to dig into why I'm procrastinating. So before I get into that whole part, one of the primary things I've learned in life is all of us either do things out of pain or pleasure. So we either try to avoid pain, that's why we do things, or we want pleasure, so we go to things, right? So those are the only two factors in anybody's life that motivates us. Everything else is all blah, 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 right? You can talk about things like, oh, how do you do things? Get motivated, all that stuff. No, that's all great in sense, like, yeah, maybe having more information on how things work for yourself or being hyped up, great. But if you don't have that internal focus, then you never, essentially change that. Whatever you're doing, you won't change it. Because either you're trying to, whatever you're doing right now is pleasurable versus the painful part where you have to do something new, right? So that's the basis. So with that being said, two things kind of clicked for me regarding procrastination. One is Internal Family Systems by Richard C. Schwartz, which I've shared multiple other videos and even the big book review about You're the One You've Been Looking For, or you're the One You've Been Waiting For by Richard C. Schwartz, which I highly recommend for anybody, single or in a relationship. Maybe it's not going well. Maybe that could be a great book to read to see how you can improve the relationship. Anyway, that's beside the point. So that's one. The other one is Joe Hudson. I've been listening to a few things, and he kind of put everything together essentially with the internal family system. So the internal family system is you ask whatever that thought is coming, or let's say, I don't know, you have this goal of working out every day or 4 or 5 days a week, whatever the case is, and also maybe losing this, you know, weight or getting a six pack, I don't know, whatever, or getting in a decent shape, whatever that goal might be. And then that's why you set up this 4 or 5 days workout to be healthy and also be in shape. Now you find yourself, maybe you work out 2, 3 weeks consistently, and then the third or fourth week, you'll slowly start kind of, oh, I'm not getting to that goal, or I'll take a day off, so on and so forth. That's normal, right? I mean, we all know if you go to a gym beginning of January, you see all these gyms packed, and by February or so, gyms start getting really thinning out. All these the goal setters for the new year go away because they don't, they're not focused on the long term. So what that is basically the pain became too much, right? And then they were focusing on the goal of getting healthy or getting the X weight, whatever that for them is. That's originally why they wanted to work out. So, for example, let's say that's what you set up. So when you start getting into the mode of, I don't know if I want to bother working out, what's the point? Or you feel too lazy, you want to do something else, then notice that. Ask that thing that's saying, oh, do something else. It might be a little bit tougher if you haven't practiced mindfulness and or meditation, whatever that looks like for you, meditation wise. Again, that's a whole another story about meditation where people have this whole view about how a meditation is supposed to be, or but I would say mindfulness practice where you're able to be aware of the thoughts, right? Notice those thoughts. So when, let's say, for example, you wanted to do the, go out in the morning to exercise, right? Whatever that workout is. And then it's like, I don't want to go. First notice what's the pain there. Is it more like, oh, I got to go drive there or I got to do all this stuff? I mean, I'm going to sweat. I'm going to like, my body is going to ache, all that stuff. So you're focused on that day and essentially the pain, right? I'm just giving you, maybe it might be something else for you. Maybe you had too much work to do that day, so you need that half an hour, whatever that is, right? So the focus is find out what's the pain you're trying to avoid by doing that workout that day. And then ask that question, like, why is that painful? And go into the process. You could be different things, right? You just don't want to spend that much time and then backed up in the work, whatever the case is, or you rather watch TV for a half an hour, whatever the case is. That's one. The second factor which Joe Hudson kind of shared is most of the time, he was kind of coaching somebody, but it kind of struck me immediately the actual solution, you know, in the sense that many times we're focused on the result, not the process. So the workout you're doing is to get to X weight or something like that. So you think, that's one day. Just, you know, just take a rest, take a day off. I'm not saying you can't take a day off at all and then not continue, but we're talking about procrastinate. Why sometimes we procrastinate and or many times we might procrastinate. Just giving a simple example on the exercise. But when you start flip that script about one day versus, hey, I'm going to go enjoy the workout. Maybe I won't do the heavy workout normally I do, just do a light workout even. Because one of the other things is obviously habits, atomic habits, or power of habits. If you read those books, the fact is that once you create a habit, then you stick to it essentially because it becomes an automatic, essentially. Issue is to create that habit where we get into this procrastination, whatever other avoidance we get into. All avoidance is because of the pain that entails on doing that new thing. So if you focus more on, hey, I'm going to enjoy the workout or I'm going to experience the workout because I'm trying to get into the habit, then focus on this result, then you might completely change your mind about the workout and procrastinating it. Same thing with anything with business, sales. I mean, like even in my IT career, right? Like sometimes I have to do stuff like I don't, I, if I'm trying to create a new, essentially an application code or something like that in my IT programming, I enjoy that. Like, yeah, I'm trying to create that. I'm fully into it. But if I have to go look at somebody else's code and try to understand, especially it's like big, huge number of lines, and then you have to do a lot of digging to understand it, it's not as fun, right? Because you're not creating anything, you're just trying to understand it. Once you understand it, then it becomes a different deal, then it's fun, like trying to solve the problem. But initially trying to dig into the existing code and trying to understand, it's painful. But what I've noticed is if I shift it to, oh, this is going to be a great learning experience, I'm going to learn something new. Because I've noticed myself, I'm a learner. I enjoy learning more than even like a creating something or anything like that. I'm a learner. Um, at the same time, I'm not good at taking tests or not a test taker. I enjoy learning things and continuously improving. So I'll kind of flip that now to anything I'm resisting, whether even like real estate or something, I've done some obviously side business. Uh, When I focused on improvement, not about the results, it flips and focus on that learning, enjoying that learning. So Joe Hudson, that's what he was doing, right? He was this guy, he had a full-time profession and he was trying to create some websites or for his business or something, and he was constantly like pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. And then Joe got into it and said, "Hey, do you procrastinate everything?" That's where it, I think it clicked for him. Like, oh, I don't procrastinate everything. This is the one I'm procrastinating. Then why is it? Then you're not a procrastinator, right? Nobody's a procrastinator. Once we feel excited about doing something or feel if it's fun to do or enjoyable to do, we'll do it. Unless there's something else more enjoyable to do, right? That's all there is to it. Procrastination is about avoiding the pain. 99.9%. It's, basically, I would say 100%. Like there's some pain you're trying to avoid or some discomfort you're trying to avoid, something like that. Either way, it's a pain. But if it's enjoyable, you enjoy it, you're having fun with it, then obviously you'll do it. Why would you avoid? Think of anything, any fun activity or thing you do that you're reluctant to do. You procrastinate. No, nobody is a procrastinator. Remove that lingo from that. You're not a procrastinator. You're just avoiding something painful. That's all there is to it. Procrastination. Once you understand why and how to flip that into being more of an enjoyable thing to do or a pleasurable thing to do, then your procrastination will go away. Or admit it that maybe that's not meant for you. You don't want to do it. Fine. But the fact is, anything you want to do in life, there's always going to be things that you don't like doing within that aspect, whether it's a job or a business. You're not going to find everything that's 100% enjoyable within that. There will be things that are not fun. But that's where one of the things, I've learned is karma yoga, which means union with work. Whatever you're doing, just be involved, be fully present, do it because that's what meant for you. Like if you chose a path or the path chose you and you're excited about ultimately whatever you're doing, most of the things you're doing, you enjoy, then there will be things that you won't enjoy. And that's for your growth. That's for our growth, essentially. We grow by doing difficult things and not so enjoyable things. I'm not saying it's easy. I resist things myself. I'm not trying to preach to anybody that, oh, do it. I know I got this, I see a lot of coaches and life coaches, career, all these people, kind of saying, hey, it's easy, do it, da da da. Great. Yeah, you can do it. But obviously there's difficulties. But understand the difficulties, the hard times is what makes you the person you are tomorrow. Remember that, focus on that. Anyway, about procrastination, bottom line, understand what is the pain you're trying to avoid and flip it to pleasure or something exciting for you to do. Whatever the aspect, you can change from that work process you have to do that you don't enjoy, you procrastinate, change that to more being curious or enjoying about it, right? Just don't too focused on the results. That's where we get stuck, I think. We focus too much on the results, thinking, hey, this one thing is not going to get me there. So why not avoid it, right? And then we procrastinate. And thereby, we call ourselves procrastinators. So, bottom line, hope that helps somebody understand themselves about procrastinating, gives them a way to, why and how to avoid that procrastination if they're looking to do that particular thing, if they really want to do it and don't understand why they keep delaying it. All right, hope that helps.